Hello everyone, Arun here. So in this video, I will be providing an overview of the first set of topics that we will be covering in our Simply Data Science series and a use case introduction following the data science methodology that we saw in the previous video. So basically, we will be covering the set of topics, database management systems with MySQL as well as NoSQL databases, a few examples from each type, followed by theoretical aspects of probability and statistics, and a little bit of programming with Python. Mostly the basics we'll be covering in the first set. So let's see a use case and how we can map these different technologies that we are seeing here to a sample data science problem. So basically consider I have collected the data of all the people in the world, maybe total maybe 700 crore, that range people in the world. And I want to have collected the height information for all these people. So basically this consists of my data in this case. So as you can see, having the data of 700 crore people of height does not have any meaning in itself, right? I don't derive any information out of that. So as we already saw, the purpose of data science is to derive insights from data. So I need to derive, if I want to derive some insight from this data called height, I need to do some processing to it. So we will try to see some processing that we can do on this. So let's consider our business understanding part. Let's define a problem like I want to find out what is the most common height category among all the people in the world. That will try to answer whether most of the people in the world are maybe shorter or majority of the people in the world are taller, things like that. So defining that data science problem as such, so I need to like I have some like 700 crore entries my data. So I need to derive information for that. So I need to like aggregate the data. So for that, what I can do is I will now set to find tabulate it as a number of people having falling into each height value. So let's say assume like this can be in crores or lakhs, whatever you want, the count. So let's assume there are people correspond to this count in this particular field. Okay, now with this I can, with the count, I can know that, okay, the most of the people falling in which height. That count I will get from a table if once I segregate the data like this. Now suppose I want to know it in terms of range. Then from this data, I only have discrete values 140, 141. So suppose I want to depict the same for data in the first table as I want in the third table. So 140, 140 to 141. So since we know that height will be 140, 140.11, 140.22, that way only we usually represent. So now one problem I found with my initially collected data. I had collected my data only in terms of units place. No decimal place is there. So if I want to go for a range like segregation of my data, my original data is incomplete or I cannot represent my typical data science problem using this data. So as we saw in the data science methodology, I will again go back to the data collection point and I will try to generate the data for people with decimal places. So once I do that, I can segregate it in the range terms. So now I have a value of the number of people falling in each range. So now from this I can derive an insight like which is a range which is mostly common among the people in the world, or the range in which most of the people in the world, like I can just count range by range, whichever one is having the maximum count, I can tell that okay, most people in the world are falling in this range. Now suppose somebody comes and tells me, okay, actually there are height difference based on genders. The height of females tend to be less than the height of males. Now again, I land at another problem. I don't have the data to tell whether that is right or true. So then again, I have to go back to my data collection point. I have to have information regarding gender to do this particular data science problem, male, female, other gender, and all. So now this comes to a very important part of our data science problem, that I need to collect all the relevant data, because I can go once and collect height. Okay, then again tomorrow I go and tell, okay, I need the height with decimal places. Next day I again go and tell, okay, I need the gender information also. Suppose I consider a sample full population, 700 crore people. It is like impossible to do that, right? Each day nobody, first day somebody may respond, second day 70% people may respond, third day maybe 50, fourth day nobody may respond. If I go on asking them again, one new question each day. So it is always better as part of business understanding. You should get the full understanding of what the data you want so that all those can be compiled together. And once I have a large amount of data, 700 crore people's gender, height, and maybe other details like I need to have some ID so that I can identify from whom I took this data and gender. Suppose today, tomorrow, if somebody tells that people from Russia are taller than people from India, then I need to answer that query also. Then somebody may tell, okay, height, there is some correlation. Tall people tend to have more weight or less weight. So things like that, I need to have multiple information in my data set. So for that, I may need like different kind of inputs. So once I define all my requirements, I can collect the data. So once I collect the data from these maybe 700 crore people, I need a storage for all this, right? And it needs to have some certain characteristics, like I should be able to query data out of it. I should be able to segregate data in it. I should be able to get data in a like form in which I can process easily and derive insights from that. So corresponding to all these, I will again come back to this technology slide. So in this thing, we will be basically seeing MySQL, which is a relational database system, and other MongoDB, Redis, HBase, Cassandra, Neo4j, etc. are NoSQL or not only SQL technology kind of databases, which are mostly used for this kind of big data. Like 700 crore people data is big enough. Even that can be managed if the table structure is like what we saw, it can be managed with a relational database like MySQL. But suppose we have some other additional requirements, then we will have to go for this NoSQL kind of databases. So we'll be covering hands-on and the type of data with which we can use for each type of this in maybe little bit detail. So then once we have that data, then we need to aggregate this and we need to find out whether the heights of males are greater than females or not, whether the people from Russia are taller than people from India. So for that, we will take the help of probability and statistics and we will define the minimum terms and concepts that is necessary to answer such a problem. So once we know the theory, we need to actually implement it, right? So for that part, we will be seeing Python. So taking the data, we will be applying statistics concept using the tool of Python. So that will be our first set of lectures or videos as part of my Simply Data Science series. So thanks and regards, Arun. Wish you all the best. Thank you all.